Pull up to the club with the bottle on me.
That Henny.
I'm already sipping. Got 5 voicemails, I just left the brib. And my bitch, she already tripping. Blue just rolled a blunt. He like, bro, you good? I'm like, nah, bro, let me hit it.
Puff, puff, drink, I don't want to think. Groupies want a picture, groupies gotta wait. I'm in another zone, My girl getting on my nerves, I ain't going home.
I ain't got time for this shit.
I don't got time for this shit.
I ain't got time for this bitch.
Throwing ones like money growing trees. So when I look down, all I see is green. Never look for love in the strip club, where all the bartenders give me big hugs. Wait.
Hold up, turn around, tisk girl.
Skirt.
Where you think you going with that big butt?
Skirt.
Skirt.
Thanks for listening to Middle Aged and Mediocre. I'm Cash.
I'm Joel.
And we are a podcast about all things strange and unusual, death and UFOs, and other creepy,
cults,
weird, random
ghosts.
There you go.
Yeah. No, I'm just naming things in the room.
Oh my god.
There's a cult of ghosts.
We're back! We are.
Shit!
That was perfect. I just hit record and you had a guttural primal scream.
Yeah, we communicate non-verbally.
Apparently so. I didn't know.
We're on the same wavelength, buddy.
Yeah, wow. I didn't have to buy a ticket for this wavelength.
Yep.
Hey guys, welcome to Middle Age Mediocre. How's everyone doing?
Me?
How you guys doing?
Oh, we're asking them. Hey guys, how are you doing?
What else? So hey, we're back with another episode.
Yep.
Right off the bat, it is the day after St. Patrick's Day, but Joel's going to be celebrating St. Patrick's Day tonight.
Yeah.
Comedy of the Gators. By the time you're hearing this, probably going to be too late.
Build a time machine.
But it happened.
Yep.
So you can keep that in mind. But you did have a show. You had a show last weekend?
I went to Dayton. I think it was the Sunday before last.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought you already had the Kevin Farley thing. You haven't had it yet.
No, that's next week.
That's next week, okay.
Yeah, that's next Saturday.
So hopefully everybody listening that's in this area has got tickets for that.
Yeah, at the Smoot. Whatever the date is next Saturday.
I'm not real sure.
22nd?
25th.
Oh, no. Yeah, 25th.
Yeah. So
I was close. Mine were numbers, too.
I hope everybody enjoyed our rendition of Young M.A., Young Ma's Hot Sauce.
Yeah.
I think we nailed it.
I think we did.
Pretty sure that was as perfect as it could have got.
Gold.
But yeah, today we got a story. If I was a better planner, the story would probably, it would have made more sense if we did like something with like an Irish theme.
Oh yeah,
St.
Patty's Day.
Yeah, I could have done the story of like this fellow named Danny Green who.
Wow, his name is Green.
His name
is that it? Is that the connection?
Dude, he fucking loves green.
Yeah.
He was kind of he was very crime oriented. He liked his crimes a lot.
They liked the money too, which is green.
He enjoyed money. Mm-hmm. He basically got involved in like unions, but he was also kind of like involved in the mob, which that usually happened.
Yeah.
But he started a company that would protect like companies and stuff from like different hijackings on the highways and like transportation issues and things like that. And they would pay him to protect them, but then he would turn around and have his people go and actually make those problems.
Rob them.
And then, he would be causing these problems that he was also then helping to
So he got the money when he robbed them, then he got the money for protecting them.
He tried to bomb people a lot. Wasn't always great at it.
Bomb people a lot.
People tried to kill him all the time, and he just was not killable.
Yeah.
There's a movie. I think it has the dude from Stranger Things, David Harbour. He plays him in it. It's really good. But yeah, like there was probably over 7 to 8 attempts on his life that should have killed him. And he just doesn't die. But he had a whole office.
Look at the Irish.
He said he loved that.
Yeah.
He said that a lot. A lot.
Is he dead now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, eventually time got him.
You can't
pull him down. So far, still
hard to dodge that.
He his office was green. His desk was green. His chairs were green.
Yeah.
He made his his employees wear like green jackets and things. It's a lot. We could have done that. We could have actually.
Oh, that's not the story?
We could have actually talked. No.
I'm peaked, baby.
I can kind of tell the story a little bit, but off the top of my head, but we could have talked about St. Patrick himself.
Uh-huh.
No, that because that's not a great one. But I'm not a planner.
No.
As you know, clearly, I'm at this point in my life. Like,
I'm surprised I'm here.
so the story we have today resembles, I guess, more of like an Easter story, in a way.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like ahead of schedule.
Sure.
So let's spin it that way.
Yeah.
I'm such a good planner that I plan so
Planned
far
too
ahead.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Easter's
Easter's next month, right? Probably in
Yeah,
April.
April.
Yeah, that's how.
I mean, it feels like winter still, so
yeah,
it's like weird that
it's snowing right now.
that spring's gonna happen.
It's spitting a little bit of snow.
We don't know where you guys are listening from, but in West Virginia, and it's probably everywhere because climate control.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
Chemtrails.
Listen to our new
the ozone layer.
eco-friendly-
Don't get me started.
Don't get me started on this shit. Seriously, don't get me started.
Yeah, it's cold as balls, man.
We are kind of going to be talking about not so much like climate change, but the story today does involve how we as human beings just ruin everything.
Yeah, human beings are the worst
on Earth, and we ruin the planet.
I like lima beans.
Ugh. I like
They're better than human
I like
beans.
baked beans.
Baked beans
And
yeah.
green beans.
They're gonna make you too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll get into the story here in a minute. You got before we get into the story, is there you got anything it's been happening? Like,
Just
what's
the
been
comedy. Comedy, living the good life,
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty happy guy.
Okay,
doing
cool.
my comedy and just being happy.
Now, do you think your happiness is going to affect your performance on this podcast? Because we've kind of built, originally we were called like the, what was it? The something sadness.
I don't know.
we had a thing that we called ourselves.
Oh, we did. About how sad we were.
Yeah, you talk for a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it'll affect me too much though, because I still have crazy anxiety and self-doubt and insecurities and all that fun stuff. But you just try to find the happiness on top of that, and I'm there, buddy. But yeah,
okay, quit talking.
Not worry about. Okay.
Thank you. Two dudes with attitude.
Oh yeah.
That's what, two dudes with attitude.
Two dudes with attitude.
Well, I'm just glad to know that you're not going to get too happy.
Yeah, no.
So that's good. I'm glad there's still some things there that are keep you on my level.
Yeah, I'm just happier than I was.
I can't have you coming in here all love the day.
Seize it, baby.
Nothing gets you higher than life. No drugs for me, please.
Oh no.
I'm high on life
And
today.
weed.
I would have to just end this podcast.
Yeah. Smash your computer.
We tried the positive thing for a good solid a minute and a half.
Yeah, you did that.
You did that. You
also
you
tried
started
it.
the positivity with your stories.
Oh
and
yeah,
things.
feel good.
And I was pointing out cynical things, and you were just be positive about it.
Yeah.
So it was your fault.
I started it.
I took that and
I
said,
started
okay,
a spin.
fine, let's do it. And
I
then you
skirt?
quickly abandoned the positivity train.
It was just to trick you.
So choo-choo, all aboard the sad train. We're back on it. Yeah, okay, well, I'm glad you're doing good.
Thanks, buddy.
I'd love to say the same for me. No, things are good.
Yeah.
So tonight you got a show, and then real quick next Saturday.
That's it. Nothing booked after that.
Okay. So, go check out Joel do his funny stories. Do you tell stories or just jokes?
A little bit both. A little bit both.
A little bit.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell more stories.
I like when you do the stories.
After I get done I'm doing longer sets and stuff, I like a good 2-3 minute story about something.
Yeah. I know because you were for a while, you had mostly just
yeah.
boom, boom.
Puns.
But then I think I was out one of the first shows that you kind of did a story.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me you were going to try it. But I think you're really good.
Thanks, buddy.
At that, and I do. Yeah, I'm glad that you're adding more to it.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think you have strength in it that you didn't maybe think you did at first or something.
Yeah.
So
I'm a talker. But I think the podcast has helped. I be talking.
Shut up. right. Well, you want to get into the story? Before we get into the story, though,
Yeah.
Let's hear from some friends also on the network we're on. We'll be right back after we hear from
The network. Our network friends.
Ronnie Crawdad.
Hey, y'all. It's the Crawdaddy, and you're listening to Middle-Aged and Mediocre. And when you're not, check out my show, The Ronnie Crawdad Show, on Rooster Crow Radio, where we play your grandpa's favorite country music every week in Ronnie's six-pack. That's The Ronnie Crawdad Show on Rooster Crow Radio.
All right, so yeah, make sure you're checking out Ronnie Crawdad on Rooster Crow Radio.
Cock-a-doodle-doo!
Look for a new episode of that next weekend. So, let's get into this story.
All right.
It starts with a question for you.
Okay.
The question being, do you like eggs?
Yeah, man, I like eggs.
How much do you like eggs?
I mean, I wouldn't shove one up my ass, but I mean, if I cook them and eat them. I don't know. All right, maybe I would. No, I definitely would not. But I like a good egg
What about like a
sandwich.
little robin egg, like a little blue robin egg? Start with that.
Nope. That's a slippery
You
slope.
can't work your way up to eagle
That's a
eggs.
slippery slope. No, I like egg sandwiches.
So you probably wouldn't go to war for eggs.
Nah, man.
And you certainly wouldn't kill somebody for eggs.
Nah.
Okay. So,
No.
all right. Well, let's get into this.
Okay.
So, we're going to go back to January 24th, 1848.
Wow, what were the egg prices then?
We'll get into it.
Okay.
So, on
This
January...
is exciting.
there's so...
This is going to be a shell of a story.
There's a lot of... Save them.
Okay.
There's a lot of opportunity.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't want to bust my yoke too early.
Oh, you So, on this date, January 24th, 1848, James W. Marshall struck gold at Sutter's Mill in Coloma, California.
All right.
Have you heard of the gold rush?
Yeah, man.
Created a football team.
Yep. The 49ers.
So, that's what's happening right
There's
here.
gold in them dar hills.
There is gold in them thar hills, and James W. Marshall discovered it. So,
What did W stand for, do you think? Winston?
I think you're right.
Really?
I'm almost positive you're right.
Nice.
Probably not, but you might be.
For this story, let's call him Winnie.
Wahlberg.
Winnie.
James W. Wahlberg. Marshall. Wait.
You gave him another middle name.
James Watson Wahlberg Marshall.
Okay.
So the discovery of gold at Sutter's Mill triggered one of the largest mass migrations in American history. Between 1848 and 1855, some 300,000 fortune hunters flocked to California from all over the world in hopes of finding gold. Ships began pouring into the San Francisco Bay, depositing endless waves of gold seekers, entrepreneurs, and troublemakers.
Ooh.
Most of the ships were old and worn down. They were abandoned as soon as they reached the bay. Like you're pulling up to like an airport,
Yeah.
and like you don't have time to park your car, so you just like pull in through the windows, kind of throw your keys, and like fuck it.
Yep.
Like that's what was happening with these boats. Fuck it. Thousands of ships.
Do boats have keys? Or you're just using that analogy? Okay.
I
think boats have keys.
they could.
I don't know about big boats.
No.
I mean, like little boats with motors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a motorboat.
Sorry, Captain Seaman.
Thousands of ships were left behind to rot away. A lot of them were taken apart piece by piece, used elsewhere. A lot of others were purposely sunk. There were so many arriving that they would have to, like, as soon as they got there, people would have to run out, strip all of, like, the brass and metal and stuff off of them, and then just burn them to the ground because there was another one, like, right behind it.
Yeah.
So a lot of that happened.
Holy ship.
There was a ship that was it landed in the financial district of San Francisco, turned into a hotel and warehouse. One was turned into a bar. One was used as a prison. One was made into an asylum.
Man, what if you went to prison on a boat? Well, I mean, I'm in prison, but I'm also on a boat.
Man, if only there was like a whole like race of people that were in prison on a boat. And
Oh,
taken
shit.
somewhere.
Oh, my God.
only.
I'm just saying, I mean, you know, if you had like a nice window, I'll just stop.
Like,
Just go ahead.
they
Go
had
ahead.
thought of the prison boat long before 1848.
Okay.
But imagine, like, if we walked out today, like we went to the Ohio River, and there was just a bunch of abandoned boats, and we were like, and that will now be a toy store.
Yeah.
That one will
I'll
now
live
be
on
like
that one.
a candy shop. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
People are just finding these things and being like, what can I turn this into?
Are you sure?
Oh, this is going to be a rough episode. So the population of San Francisco had went from right around 1,000 people in 1847 to over 20,000 people by 1848.
I'm sure that went smoothly.
It did not.
Oh, no!
Resources were slim. The abandoned ships kind of helped make up for, like, you know, where we can put things now.
Yeah.
Like, so that kind of helped, but there wasn't a lot of resources to go around. So, you know, along with all of the, like, the need for, like, shit to do, to, you know, businesses and everything, people also needed shit to eat, right?
Yeah.
Farmers struggled to keep up with the influx of the hungry 49ers, like the miners, and food prices skyrocketed.
Like, how many McDonald's were in the area at the time?
I mean, I'm sure there was, like, a guy named McDonald's that had, like, you know, I say McDonald's,
So right in that restaurant.
Bologna. Get your bologna sandwich today. Quote
bologna.
Eva Chrysanth, it was a protein-hungry town, but there was nothing to eat. They didn't have the infrastructure to feed all of the hungry male workers.
See, I'd go to war over eggs. If I was starved and someone took, all I had was eggs, someone took them. So I see where you're going.
So yeah, the hungry male workers in her quote. So like they didn't have enough money for enough food for the men. So like I'm assuming the women were just like, you can have that dirt there if you can. So local farmers were growing vegetables for like, you know, they were growing vegetables, and that's mostly what the men were eating. But you know, they need protein and shit. So like, while farmers were good at growing vegetables and crops, they could not get the hang of chicken farming.
How do you grow a chicken? I don't know.
I don't know how to grow one. I keep planting them in the ground.
Plant them.
Eggs suddenly were in high demand because there just weren't enough. So no matter how many times the farmers attempted to make chicken farming work, they failed again and again. Chickens would die of like disease. There just wasn't enough food for them. They also, like, the farmers.
Do you think they got scared? Did they get chicken?
Big gawk.
So they're not good at keeping. You gotta keep chickens alive if you want them to.
Yeah, they also like didn't understand how to do it. Like they just kind of like kept them all in like one area at all times in a pen, and like they just don't survive that way very well. So like it wasn't working. So there weren't eggs. An Italian immigrant named Pierre
Well, you think freaking chickens.
Giuseppe Bertarelli, he saw this, like the lack.
He
of,
said, "Mamma mia!"
the lack of you know, eggs and stuff. So in quote again, Eva Chrysanth, in April 1852, after escaping yet another fire, whatever that means, he made an auspicious start on a new scheme. He would raise and sell chickens at $3 a piece. That would be about $110 right now. So he admitted, though, that he didn't know how to feed the chickens. He didn't have enough food. So he would just like go dig around dumpsters looking for chicken feed. So that's like what is happening here. Like people are doing anything they can. And I'm also pretty sure Springsteen wrote a song about a man, the chicken man, being blown up in San Francisco. So yeah, chicken farming not happening in San Francisco. There's not enough eggs. All the vegetables being grown were eaten by the workers. Too expensive to feed the chickens, keep them alive. So chicken eggs cost about $1 a piece at the time.
Wow.
Which would be about $35 now.
Yeah.
So when people complain about like $6 cartons of eggs,
Yeah.
at one point they were $35 a piece.
Pump your brakes.
Along with it being, you said, like, why don't they just eat the chickens? Well, they did that. They basically ate all the chickens. So now are you not only bad at like getting the eggs from the chickens, you don't even have the chickens now.
Yeah.
The situation became so dire that grocery stores started placing egg wanted advertisements in newspapers. One advertisement read, "Wanted butter and eggs for which the highest price will be paid."
Oh.
So if you could shit out an egg, if you had one up your butt, like you're so as you know, story is old as time. If you can't get chicken eggs, someone else's eggs start looking mighty delicious. That's a saying, I think.
Okay.
So, if I can't get eggs, your eggs are looking mighty fine right now.
Yep.
So people began to seek alternative sources of protein. They soon found out what they were looking for.
Duck eggs?
No.
Oh, shit. Fish eggs?
No.
Eggs?
Egg eggs.
Egg
Yes.
eggs. Legos?
So
Legos.
So there was a island about 26 miles west of the Golden Gate Bridge known as the Farallon Islands. They were nicknamed the Devil's Teeth Islands due to there was a bunch of cliffs, like rocks, that kind of outlined a side of it. So if you looked at it from above, it would look like the teeth, jagged teeth. Yeah. So it was described as looking like a piece of moon that fell into the sea, like the island was. So the islands were inhospitable to humans. The Coast Miwok tribe called them the Islands of the Dead. They were, however, had been for a long, long time, a sanctuary for seabirds and marine mammals. So sea lions and seals and things.
Yeah.
One author, Susan Casey, said, "I can't overstate the dangers of that place and how hostile it is to human life. It's a place where every animal thrives because it's the wildest of the wild, but it's a tough place for humans."
Party, man.
Probably just stay off that fucking island.
Yeah.
Right? So in 1850...
Well, that's what we would think, but
in 1850, at the time, the island was heavily inhabited by birds, which meant there were a lot of mouth-watering eggs laying everywhere.
Yeah.
Each spring, hundreds of thousands of birds would land on the jagged cliffs of the island and just poop out eggs everywhere.
Poop.
Quote again, Susan Casey, "It is a really different place during the egg season. There's just this den of birds that goes on 24 hours a day. The whole island is filled with birds. It looks like it's been frosted with white." So you can imagine seeing this, the miners and stuff, their hungry eyes are just all big.
Yeah.
There's drool coming out of their mouths.
Ooga.
So in 1849, a aspiring actor and enterprising pharmacist,
James Franco?
David Robinson,
The
Admiral.
Oh, wow.
He
Good for him.
hatched a plan
Oh, shit. Cash getting in on the phone.
to profit off the egg shortage.
Yeah.
He and his brother-in-law sailed to the Farallon Islands and raided the nesting grounds. They gathered up as many eggs as they could. They took so many eggs, and the seas were so rough. What is that? The Pacific over there?
Yep.
It's I think known to have rougher waters.
Uh-huh.
But the waters were not fun. And they just have a rowboat basically.
Yeah.
So they took a shitload of eggs, but they actually lost half of them on the way back. They were just spilling out the sides.
Yeah.
So they were still able to...
That's how you get better. You learn,
You learn.
One trip at a time.
Well, they made about $3,000 from selling those eggs.
Nice.
Which today would be about $110,000.
Hell yeah.
So they made
bank.
pretty good fucking money. The trip was terrible, though, and they swore they would never do it again. So David took his share of the money. He opened up a pharmacy. He became known as Doc. But word of their,
Doc Robinson.
Pretty good name.
Yeah, that's fucking sweet, man.
Word of their, overnight fortune brought a ton of people. A lot of people got interested in that.
Yeah.
So those people became known as eggers.
Eggers!
Yeah. So
the stories really egged them on. A lot of these people probably didn't have a nest egg. So they're desperate for some money.
Oh, I thought you were to have a third one there.
No. I wish I did. I'm sorry. It's never enough, is it? We won't be enough, Dad. John, Cash. Tell me more about these eggs.
Oh, son. Well, spoiler alert.
All right.
Humans are about to do a lot of terrible shit while ruining nature.
Skirt.
So,
What?
Before we get to that, let's take an ad break.
All right.
And we'll be right back.
Skirt.
And we're back.
We are back.
Joel wrote down about 47 more egg puns, so buckle up.
Here we go.
So, yeah, bunch of people just figured out, hey, we can make money off of those eggs over there on that island. So there started to become a pretty big run on the island. People going over there. So the main bird over there was called a Murre.
Murre?
Murre. It was like a little penguin-looking thing.
You a penguin-looking motherfucker, ain't you?
Pretty adorable.
Yeah.
The eggs of the Murre were the most sought after on the Farallon Islands. They were.
I like my eggs salt after.
You like some salt on your eggs?
Yeah, and pepper.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You gotta have eggs.
Mostly pepper, but there's
Eggs
no
and
good.
pepper.
There's no good egg pepper, bud. I'm sorry.
So they were about twice the size of chicken eggs. They were
Dang.
like blue speckled.
Uh-huh.
They also, when you would so you crack an egg, and the egg whites are like clear until you cook them, right? And they turn white. If you cooked like a Murre egg, even after you cook it, it remained clear.
Huh.
Which had to be weird as shit looking. Like they weren't like appealing. Like when you cracked them open, like it wasn't an appealing thing to eat.
Yeah.
People said they
hard-boiled eggs are appealing
Oh, I love me a good
because you
hard-boiled
got to
egg.
peel off the shell.
I get it.
Okay.
People would say that like they tasted pretty much just like chicken eggs, but
Tastes like chicken.
But like you had to eat them quick. If you didn't eat them like really fresh, or whatever, like they started to taste like fish.
Okay.
They started to smell.
I thought you meant once even after they were cooked, you had to eat them.
No. So collecting eggs from the islands though was a pretty dangerous affair. Getting there could be a challenge in itself because of the waters. You were usually using little shitty rowboats and just small boats. You didn't have anything back then that was like you didn't have like a speedboat like we were talking about. Motorboat. So it was really difficult to find a spot to get the boats ashore because again it's just like a bunch of like cliffs.
Yeah.
And everything was covered in bird shit.
Oh yeah.
Right, like if you're trying to climb up on everything's just bird shit. So everything was slick.
Bird shit's the worst, dude. I went out to my car today and like a bird shit on like the door, and I was like, "What the fuck, bird?"
And sometimes it's so much shit. Like you're like, I've seen birds. They're not this big.
Yeah. You ever been shit on by a bird?
Mm-mm.
Twice in my life.
Twice.
Like it hasn't happened probably since I was like 13 or something.
Hasn't happened.
Yeah, but it's the worst, dude. Like you just like it's like walking in a spider web that gets dropped on you from above, and you just like rip off whatever clothes you're wearing and jump in the shower and scrub yourself.
Cry.
Oh, so many
And
tears.
then go back outside and curse the skies.
But you can't look up. That's the thing. They say you're not supposed to look up at birds. That's what I always heard. That it's the white of your eyes that makes them shit.
Really?
Yeah. Don't look up ever. The birds are gonna shit on you, Josh.
I've never heard anybody be like, "Don't be looking at those birds."
Don't look at them.
I look at every bird in the eye when it flies by. I point at my eyes and then point to theirs.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll see you, bird.
flying up there.
I dare you to shit on me.
Birds aren't even real. We know that. There's little camera devices for the government.
Man. Well, those camera devices shit on me
They
twice.
shit all over me. I went outside last summer, and there's like there's like those old berries that grow on trees around here. And like I went outside, and there was, like a 35 record, or a 45.
Yeah.
I mean, it was about that size of just like purple and pink shit.
Ugh.
Like I'm assuming there was just a really fat bird out there that just ate all the berries and got an upset tummy.
Oh, poor little bird tummy.
So, where were we? So men that were going to the island.
Oh, it was covered in bird shit, so
Yeah.
it was hard for them to get around the island.
They would be trying to climb up the cliffs. Not only would it slick as shit,
Because it's shit. So it's like shit.
so it's literally shit.
Good job.
But the seagulls would also just be pissed off that there's like fucking who are you? What are you doing here? And they would just attack the guys. The whole time.
Hell yeah.
So once the men reached the eggs, though, the Murres, of course, didn't take too kindly to that. So they would also be attacking. So that you just have two different kinds of birds just dive bombing you. But there's money to be made.
Yeah.
So fuck it. The eggs, like I said, I already kind of talked about how they were, be clear. People would say, like, one guy said, "I must confess, the sight can scarcely be called appetizing. The whites, though thoroughly fried, still transparent, and the yolks a fiery orange color, almost red." So, devil eggs.
Yeah. I want me some deviled eggs.
And then, like I said, stale.
They have deviled eggs.
Deviled? Yes. I hate
I do
deviled eggs.
too.
I hate vinegar. So let me see. We already talked about how they'd smell, have a strong fishy aftertaste. So when the so to avoid like the bad aftertaste and shit, when the eggers would show up in May every year, they'd spend the first day just smashing every egg they could find, just crushing them all. That way they would go back like a day or two later, and they would know every egg is fresh.
Oh,
so just fuck you, birds.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they could have marked them or something. Maybe those birds could have been hatched, and then they have eggs. They'll
maybe you could have picked them up and moved them.
Smash!
Smash, smash, smash! Fuck you, nature. We are humans. We do what we want.
Yep.
So
I marked them by smashing them.
Yes. So approximately 14 million Murre eggs were sent to San Francisco between 1849 and 1896.
That's a miracle.
So the common Murre egg, it's the first eggers to make it to the island for egg season. Collected tons of eggs.
They went hard as a motherfucker. They were ham and eggers.
So they were able to go over there, collect all the eggs. They didn't have to fight off a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
It was pretty easy for them.
Back in my day.
And with the eggs selling for $1 a dozen, the poaching industry grew too lucrative for friendly competition. Quote:
Would you ever have a poached egg?
I don't know.
I don't either. I just heard.
I've had fresh eggs.
I've heard of a poached egg. Isn't that something where they steam it?
Oh, you mean the actual the cooking method?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I've never had one.
Let's steam one.
Is that what it is?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
You talk.
Have you ever had fresh chicken eggs? Somebody has a chicken farm right there and brings you an egg?
No.
They're delicious.
Okay.
So one journalist at the time said, of course there was an egg war. The prize was too great not to be struggled for. If there's money to be made, we're gonna have a war.
Oh yeah. I want your share of the money too. Yeah. You have something I want.
I will murder you for that.
And I don't want to work hard to get my own thing. You have a thing, and I feel like I can take that thing from you.
And technically, I'm not going to be the one doing it. I'm going to have somebody else do it for me because I don't want to fucking even.
I don't want to get my hands dirty. I gotta handle all these eggs. I can't have dirty hands.
So, in 1851, 6 men sailed to the Farallon Islands and declared themselves owners by right of possession.
Oh, they were probably all white.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to come here one day and just be like, I own this whole room.
Yes.
Where's my rent, motherfucker?
So they formed the Pacific Egg Company. And they claimed exclusive rights to the meeting grounds.
Fuck these guys.
Yeah, we should start doing this. We should start showing up places. That is ours now.
Has anyone else claimed right to this land?
A manager walks out of the dollar store. Yeah, it's owned by whatever. You do not speak.
We have to get a company name first. Well, good boys extraordinary.
Yeah. So, and was that company at the end of it?
Yeah.
In May, when the birds first began to lay the eggs, the company would land about 10 to 30 men, mostly Italian and Greek immigrants, on the Farallon Islands. They would come in little rowboats. They'd quote this author named Camilla. They'd send the men up there, up these sheer guano-stinking cliffs, being attacked by swirling gulls. They were roughneck guys, waterfront types, climbing up and pushing eggs into their special egg pockets in their egg shirts. Yeah, so probably pretty jealous you don't have an egg shirt.
Where's my egg shirt at? Okay, we're leaving in 10 minutes. Did you wash it? Where did you put it last? I don't know. I get home from work, I take my egg shirt off. That's all I wanted, my egg shirt waiting for me so I could go to work.
Have you checked your egg dresser?
Yeah. There it is, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just stressed, the boss is like, get more eggs. And I'm like, I'm out of egg pockets, man.
I get it, honey. I did want to ask, can you bring some eggs home? The kids are starving.
Feed them some more dirt.
So, yeah, these Pacific Egg guys, the 6 guys that founded the company, they're not even doing the work.
After hundreds of people have been to that island.
They, of course, are 6 rich white guys, so they
What? I just fell out of my chair.
So they are, using immigrants to go do cheap labor for them.
Yeah.
But everything's fine still. Everything's still great today.
Yep.
Glad we don't have to deal with these things now. So
we learn from our past.
By 1854, more than 500,000 eggs were being collected from the islands each year. As more and more men made the voyage to the Farallon Islands, more and more ships were crashing into the cliffs, of course. Because, so this caused the government to actually step in. By the way, the government is not giving a shit yet about, the claiming it. They're like, whatever. But they see this, and they're like, we should probably put a lighthouse on this.
They're going to be like, we should probably be making some money off of this.
Not yet.
Okay.
So,
they seem to be making a lot of money over there. We're not getting any of it.
We don't like that.
We're still the government, right? I mean, we're supposed to get some of that money.
Yeah, we left the last place that was doing that because we didn't like it. But now...
we see it a little bit.
We like it. We get it.
Yeah.
So... they couldn't bring. They needed to build a lighthouse, but they can't bring construction materials to the island. It's just not. Yeah, it's too difficult.
Hey, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Ooh. The guy fucking it. So anyway, what?
Because of his penis and semen. So instead of bringing materials over, they just took rocks from the island and built the lighthouse. Because
all right.
Fuck this island. Completely.
Let's change
this
structure.
Is our island. We'll do whatever we want to it.
So they Minecrafted before there was a Minecraft.
That was the original Minecraft.
Yes. Okay.
So Major Hartman Batch, who took charge of lighthouses.
Pretty badass name.
Pretty good.
Hartman.
He'd been taking charge of lighthouses since 1855. He visited the Farallon Islands on July 5th of that year and found that the recently completed Hilltop Tower. So it's this is not a fun job that these guys had, to build this thing, because they were hauling rocks up cliffs
to the highest point of the island. So
so it was really hard work. So they got it built though, and this guy comes over and he sees that the tower that they built is too small to house the lens. So it was tore down and
you dumb dummies. You had one job!
And rebuilt on a nearby site that would be able to have a bigger tower. He wrote in a report, few, if he's talking about the guys that did this, few, if any, unaccustomed to the ascent can make it by the use of the feet alone. The hands must be brought into requisition. And even then, a false step might precipitate the climber by a series of pitches to a depth of nearly, if not quite, 200 feet. The bricks used in the present structure were transported on men's backs by 4s and 5s at a time, and then only for the portion of least acclivity, a windlass being employed to raise the remainder of the height. So these dudes are carrying
fucking giant bricks,
4 and 5 at a time, and getting up to a certain point, and then they're raised up.
Yeah. Back-breaking work.
Yes.
Jesus.
So,
frags.
When they started to do this new lighthouse, the workers said, fuck this, and staged a sit-down strike. So, to solve this, a mule named Jack was brought in, and it carried everything up.
One mule did the job of the men!
One mule.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, guys. You done lost out your jobs.
So... The Farallon Islands.
It was a jackass. Do you think jackass was like a mule, jackass, donkey?
Under his breath, you fucking jackasses.
Yeah, I think donkeys are jackasses.
They are.
Mules.
Yeah.
All right, that's
poor fucking.
That's kind of animal racist of me, and I apologize to any jackass.
Oh yeah, donkeys. This is.
I apologize to mules and donkeys that are listening right now.
Yes.
I didn't mean. I know you're all your own. I'm sorry.
Hee haw, hee haw. Hee haw.
Hee haw, hee haw. He always tells me that.
The Farallon Island Lighthouse was lit for the first time on January 1st, 1856.
New Year's Day!
By the head lighthouse keeper, Nerva Wines, and his assistant, John Wines.
I just see the Lighthouse movie.
Yes.
William Dafoe and
they're both farting on each other.
And Pattinson.
And then I think Robert Pattinson jerks off or something. Good movie.
I think you did.
Yeah, I jerked off watching the movie. So they were paid respectively annual salaries of $1,000 and $650.
Wow.
Which would whatever the
You
inflation.
said dollars twice.
Jack the mule.
Yeah.
He remained on the island for 18 years.
Hell yeah,
And would
Jack.
just constantly be carrying shit back and forth.
I hope they fed him eggs or something.
I doubt it. So life on the islands was difficult. To provide drinking water, they built a large cistern to catch the rainwater. Anytime, that way they could drink it. Anytime there was a storm approaching, they would have to hurry up and run to the roof and like scrape all the bird shit off, though. That way it didn't contaminate the water they were collecting. So, yeah, life's not fun on this island for these lighthouse keepers or the workers. Although the Pacific Egg Company still had claim for, like, they were claiming they had exclusive rights to the island, by the early 1860s, they had some serious competition. 4 years earlier, U.S. President James Buchanan solidified the federal government's own claim to the land for a lighthouse. So that's,
And they built the lighthouse. So
yeah. And there were groups of rival eggers who had been granted access to the island by the United States government. As the government didn't recognize the company's claim, but they also didn't necessarily do too much to hinder it. Like they were just like, sure, you guys do it too, but we're sitting over our people.
Yeah, like whatever you guys say.
Yeah. They basically were like, if you want to pretend it's yours, that's cool. But we're also cool with anyone else
We're
who wants to
getting
go over there
ours,
and do it.
We're going to get ours.
And we're positive this is going to work out just fine.
Yeah.
The Pacific Egg Company, however...
Everyone seems really level-headed involved in this.
Everybody.
Sure, yeah, it's going to be fine.
Good choices all around, I think.
It's going to be fine.
So the Pacific Egg Company thought this was bullshit, though. They went over there and said it was theirs. So
we already said it was ours.
they called dibs.
I was going to say, we called dibs. We said shotgun. We called it.
What do you guys want from us?
But it's like they call shotgun from inside the house. When really you shouldn't call it till like you're in
2
view
days
of the
before.
car. Like everyone else, you have to be able to see the vehicle before you call shotgun.
I hate it when people are in the house and still like, shotgun. No.
I'm not even going anywhere now.
I'm not in that mind frame yet. We're still indoors.
Yeah.
So 2 other men joined the Wines brothers as lighthouse keepers. And the 4 had to not only deal with the harsh conditions of the island, but also with bullshit from the eggers, from the Pacific Egg Company, and the, whoever else was being given approval. So at this point in time, the eggers were required to have a license, but none of them did. So like the lighthouse keepers are like, hey, do you have a,
I need your egg license,
and they're
sir.
like, being flipped off.
Here, I got it right here in my
right
pocket.
here, buddy.
Flip off.
So...
That was the first time that was ever done, and it really blew him away.
Really
like,
did.
now it's become, like, it doesn't really have an effect, but that first time, that you're like, oh, yeah, it's right here. You reach in your pocket and pull out the middle finger, man.
You sort of had to react the first
Shit,
time.
yeah, you're just like, wow.
That's not the thing I asked for.
Yeah, you reached in your pocket. You didn't need to. That's just on your hand.
You put effort into that, into telling me to
That's
fuck
like a
off.
show, kind of. Thanks. I mean, thanks? Fuck you, but thanks.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, fuck
good
you,
performance.
yeah.
So, any egger not a part of the Pacific Egg Company also thought it was bullshit that the company had just decided the island and the eggs belonged to them. So they, all the other eggers over there are like, who the fuck are you guys? Like, how is this yours?
Yeah, we were here way before you guys.
So before long, egg season became violent. You know how egg seasons
This is the
are.
best bedtime story ever.
Yeah.
Before long, eggs.
We've all lived through egg seasons.
Oh, yeah.
They get rough. Mm-hmm. In the words of one commentator, the 8 weeks between May and July devolved into, quote, an annual naval engagement known
Was it a scramble?
as the Egg War.
Oh!
So brawls would break out constantly between the rival groups, ranging in brutality from threats and shell throwing to stabbings and shootings.
All right, just throw the shells at me, okay?
Yeah.
Like, what is that going to do? Like, I don't know. We threw shells at them. It didn't do much. We better stab and shoot them.
So, sometimes the rival gangs would battle for weeks on the island, at which times San Francisco would begin to experience an egg drought. Like, there was just too much fighting going on. They weren't even bringing the eggs back at this point.
You don't want to know where your eggs come from.
So if you're in San Francisco and you haven't had an egg in a couple days, you got to be like, Oh, it is not good on the island. Right?
That egg war is really heating up.
So quite often, the military or police would have to go to the island to try to calm things down. They would kick the eggers off the island, but instead of returning to San Francisco like they were supposed to, the eggers would just go hide in the caves. And wait for the cops and everybody to leave. One group actually stayed, like they got kicked out. They kind of like maneuvered their boat into a cave and stayed there for 2 days. But there were also a shitload of birds in that cave.
Yeah.
So for 2 days straight, these guys just sat while birds shit on them.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
And they was like, this is good. We made so many good decisions.
My life is just exactly where it should be right now.
Oh, yeah. And then egg pirates happened.
Egg pirates?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So boats carrying eggs would
Are you sure?
started to get hijacked.
See, that seems even easier. Like, why fight all the eggs and all the birds when you can just wait for these dumb
Just
fuckers
chill like a mile off the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got more guns than them.
So, according to the San Francisco Examiner, there were, quote, many a bitter and fatal encounters between larger parties of rival claimants in boats mounting small cannons. So, we're at egg war here.
This is full-on egg war.
Back in San Francisco, the courts were just full of egg-related cases. They included charges of petty larceny, trespassing, property damage.
Weren't they like a special egg judge?
Yes. If he falls off his wall. If he falls off of there.
He's all bald-headed, egg-headed.
There was resisting officers, manslaughter. So, aside from the dangers imposed on one another, the eggers were also, of course, risking their life every time they actually were trying to collect the eggs.
Yeah.
To reach the nests, the eggers had to scramble over the, shit-covered rocks.
It just would seem to be so much easier to just figure chickens out.
Uh-huh.
Can we just look at the chickens for a little bit longer?
Or, try to, figure out a way to take some of the Murres.
Yeah.
And then build, a little, indoor...
Yeah.
And then see if you can't get the Murres to lay your eggs for you, on the island.
We need to go back in time. We'd be the egg kings.
And then you don't have to, basically decimate an entire population of a bird species.
Yeah.
You're, instead...
Risk your life.
So,
But money.
But money, man.
But money!
So accidents and injuries were common. In 1858, the Daily Alta, California reported that an egger, quote, missed his hold while robbing a gall's nest over the edge of a precipice and fell and was dashed to pieces on the rocks below. Which is...
Sorry.
We don't see enough headlines anymore. I feel like the headline "dash to pieces" was more common back then. We don't see that very often anymore. At some point, the lighthouse keepers realized that they weren't being paid anywhere near enough to be putting up with all this bullshit.
They're getting too old for this shit.
So they too decided, why don't we also collect some eggs and sell them to Sam?
Oh, yeah.
So now you got the lighthouse keepers.
They're there, yeah.
So in 1858, a new head lighthouse keeper named Amos Clift arrived. So close to being perfect for it.
Wow!
Unlike the other lighthouse keepers, all he cared about was getting those sweet, sweet eggs.
Yeah, he probably had so many egg pockets.
He would... Yeah,
he had pockets inside of pockets?
He had government egg jackets.
Hell yeah, man.
He would write letters to his brother stating how miserable he was on the island, though. But how that he wanted to completely dominate the island's egg business.
I want to go pants shopping now and take eggs and be like, hold on,
How many eggs
can I fit in there? And hidden camera and just watch a person break something. They'd be like, I don't want those pants now. All right, what is that?
That's
7 eggs?
That's what I think you should leave sketch.
All right, go ahead, sorry.
So in a letter to his brother, Amos wrote, quote, "Before I came here, the egg company used to have things all their own way. But since I've been here, things have taken a turn, and they have ascertained that I am not as easily bluffed. I think it will now be settled, and the egg company will be driven off the island."
Ooh.
So that was before October. So in October of 1859, he wrote the following. "The egg season is in the months of May and June, and the profits of the company, after all expenses are paid, is every year from $5,000 to $6,000. Quite an item. And if this island is government property, I have a right to these eggs, and I am bound to try and gain it. If I could have the privilege of this egg business for one season, it's all I would ask. The government might then kiss my foot and go up along.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I think that's a fancy way of saying either kiss my foot and my ass, like just keep right on going, or kiss my foot and suck my dick. I'm not sure, but I do like kiss my foot and go up along.
Kids start kissing and don't stop.
The same
He
month,
just wants one season.
if he could just have
And I'm
one,
sure after that one season, he'd be like, there, you guys can have it
if I
back.
could have one goddamn season.
Coach would have put me in.
Oh, I'll be the best egger.
Yeah.
That same month, Daily Alta California reported that the Pacific Egg Company was breaking up the government roads. So on the island, they're posting notices, like threatening lighthouse keepers with the pain of death.
Oh, the pain of
So
death.
they're getting serious.
Are you going to kill him or just, I mean, yeah. That's
The government still did nothing. Local authorities made pleas to the federal government to step in, but they just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And, or they might not have known how bad it really was. Like, it's eggs. What's happening because of eggs? Figure it out. In June 8th, I wish you had to use the scramble one already. I could use it. Scramble and figure it out or something. In June 1860, Amos once again wrote a letter to his brother, this time stating, and by the way, the last one was in October, so this is June. We are now in the midst of the egg season, and the egg company and the lighthouse keepers are at war.
Oh, shit.
So, shit hit the fan. An armed group of eggers soon
bird shit hit the
trying to
fan.
force the keepers from the island. They assaulted an assistant lighthouse keeper in the process. Amos was then removed by the lighthouse service shortly after that, after they started investigating a little bit, because, quote, he was trying to monopolize, according to them, quote, the valuable privilege of collecting eggs. Along with the Pacific Egg Company, the lighthouse keepers, the egg pirates at sea, and random other eggers, there was a group of Italian fishermen who had been granted access to the islands by the United States topographical engineers.
Okay.
I assume a room with 2 people in it.
Yep.
Is what I assume.
You're like, yeah, let him fucking fish.
Do whatever you guys want. Forget about it.
You're going to get shit on.
It seems like if we had been doing... if we'd been doing this podcast back then, we could have also just given away access to the island, via, podcast contests.
Yeah.
Be like us on Facebook for your chance to go to the Farallon Islands and collect some eggs. There's just total chaos. This is just fucking getting crazy. The fishermen did not respect the Pacific Egg Company's claim to the island because, as far as they were concerned,
They said, forget about it.
forget about it.
Forget about it.
They had just as much right to be there as the company did.
They're there to do something different, too. They're trying to fish, so who gives a fuck?
Well, they're fishermen.
Yeah.
They want to go get these eggs.
Oh.
But they're actually not doing it because they want to get rich quick or whatever. They don't have any food.
Oh, okay.
And they're just trying to get by.
Yeah.
So they're like, if we can get some of these fucking eggs, we can help, They're very anti-corporation. They're very anti-capitalism. So they look at this egg company and they're like, yeah, you motherfuckers. This is, of course you guys want it all.
This ain't yours, it's God's land.
And they also didn't respect the egg company because they're using labor to go do the work for them. So the Pacific Egg Company responded to the fishermen coming over there by suing them. The judge ruled against the Italians and ordered them to leave the island, but the fishermen refused.
Yeah, come on out and make me judge.
In June 1860, the chief of police of San Francisco sent 2 officers to arrest the leaders of the fishermen.
Uh-huh.
The officers discovered, quote, 2 parties armed to the teeth in possession of different parts of the island and breathing defiance against each other. So the officers were able to arrest 3 of the fishermen, but the rest vowed that they were ready for a fight and would rather be shot dead than arrested. The 2 officers knew...
That 3 kind of sound a little smart. They're like, yeah, just take me. This is too much. Fucking eggs, fish.
What are we doing?
Jesus, just fucking, yes. Take me back to San Francisco.
The 2 officers knew they weren't going to be able to, handle, they were outnumbered.
Yeah.
So they returned to
They just started shooting everybody.
They returned to San Francisco with the 3 men that they arrested, told their chief about it. The 3 men were charged with petty larceny for the theft of eggs. The next day, the chief and a posse went to the islands and arrested the remaining fishermen. So it was real easy for the fishermen to say that they were ready to die for eggs, but when push came to shove, the standoff was over easy.
They're like, you all got posse?
Nothing? So eggs over easy?
Eggs over easy?
So I thought you were going to step on it at some point. Or I thought I wasn't going to get to it.
You got to it.
That was disappointing.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's it. That's the end of the story.
Oh, Dad, no.
No, so the whole lawsuit thing, it was just like a civil.
Say it again.
No.
Okay.
Wait. I'll do it one more time. It was real easy for the fishermen to say that they were ready to die for eggs, but when push came to shove, Joel,
Yeah.
the standoff was over easy.
Eggs!
Thank you.
Oh, yo.
That worked.
That's good, man.
Go.
Oh, man, I made my whole day.
So it was just a civil suit. Like, it wasn't like they couldn't really, like, government's not involved yet.
Yeah.
So this is just a civil suit.
Like you said, they're poor fishermen, so they don't have fucking money anyway.
The Italians could have done the exact same thing to the egg company, because they don't actually have ownership. Like, the egg company doesn't have ownership of the island to sue to keep people off of it. But the Italians didn't really realize that. So they could have told the police, like, fuck you guys. Like, no. Like, what are you arresting us for?
Yeah.
And they could have then turned around and been like, we're suing them. Arrest them. And they would have been the same.
Uh-huh.
But with the fishermen being removed from the island for a few days, the egg company had all the island to themselves for a little bit. So, but realizing that there is no actual, like, law saying they can't go over there, the fishermen planned to return, or they started skirmishing with the Pacific Egg Company for several years, like just constant back and forth bullshit. The accumulating tension exploded into a full-blown melee in 1863. That spring, an army of Italian fishermen under the command of David Batchelder, they made multiple attempts to seize the Farallon Islands. Each time, the United States Revenue Cutter Service, which would eventually become known as the Coast Guard, arrested the trespassers and confiscated their weapons. But Batchelder and his men refused to surrender the lucrative nesting grounds without a fight. On the evening of June 3rd, 1863, 3 boatloads of heavily armed fishermen sailed out to the Farallon.
That's a boatload.
With one boat having a cannon on it. Once again,
Nick Cannon or one of his kids?
Probably one of his kids.
Yeah.
I feel like he's had so many by this time that they're definitely be pushed into the past, just to make room for him. So they get there.
He's fucking a lot.
He fucks all the time. I don't even know if he fucks all the time. I think he somehow pulled a scheme where it's only his sperm at sperm banks. I don't know how he did it.
He's Nick Cannon.
He's clever.
Yeah.
So they get to the island, but before they can actually get on the island, they're met by a group of armed employees of the Pacific Egg Company. Isaac Harrington, the company's foreman, warned the men to, quote, land at their peril. In return, Batchelder shouted that they'd land, quote, in spite of hell.
Oh, man, I would like to have some good banter with somebody like that.
Yes.
Land
at your peril, Joel.
And then what do I say? I'll land despite hell.
Good enough.
Good enough. I'll take it.
All right, then. The Italians spent the rest of the night drinking on their boats and taunting the men on shore.
That's a good way to prepare for war.
The men on shore were also drunk off their asses. So it's just
Thank God.
two groups of dumbasses.
I've seen this played out so many times.
Everyone
living in West Virginia.
Kiss my foot and go up my leg, you. Right? I don't know what that means, but fuck you.
Fuck you. No, fuck you. No, fuck you.
So at dawn, the bleary-eyed fleet attempted to land, and the employees of the Pacific Egg Company opened fire. For the next 20 minutes, the cliffs reverberated with the thunder of gunshots and cannon blasts.
And they're hungover and shit? That's just so loud. I'm like, oh, guys, keep it down. You make any eggs?
By the time the Italians retreated, one Pacific Egg Company employee was dead, and at least 5 of the fishermen were wounded. One was shot through the throat and died a few days later. This finally forced the U.S. government to step in and get involved. instead
Do you
of...
think they tried to put like an egg in the wound to stop the bleeding? We need more eggs!
Throw us one of those eggs, just one. We need it for this guy's throat. Come on. He has a kid, we think. I don't know.
Yeah, he might.
He might. He's 17. He's probably got 12 of them at this point.
Middle-aged.
So the government steps in. Now, again, they have ownership of the island because they have the lighthouse on it.
Yeah. They're the government, so
There's
fuck
no
you.
other claim. Like, they hadn't been using it before this, right?
Yeah.
It'd been sitting there for quite a while, undisturbed. Instead of, like, just stepping in and being like, hey, everyone get off the fucking island, they realized money. Money.
Money. Cash, money.
So they said, hey, whoever wants to give us the most money can have it. And surprise, surprise, the egg company had the most money.
Yeah.
So they get the island now.
Seems fair.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it seem fair that
Yep.
whoever has the most money just gets everything?
Yep.
That's right. That's great.
Stop breaking stuff. This is your room.
So,
You're so bad.
the ravaging of the Murre nests continued for decades, decimating the once robust seabird colony.
By now, I'm sure the chicken thing has been... And they're just like, fuck it.
Well, it goes on for a while. So essentially, the wildlife lost this war that they weren't even trying to fucking be a part of. There was a truce between the government and the Pacific Egg Company, of course, because, hey, we sold it to you guys.
Yeah.
They still had their lighthouse on it, though. The truce was short-lived. The Pacific Egg Company's defiance of government authority infuriated the representatives of the 12th Lighthouse District. Tempers flared in 1879 after the company began rendering seals and sea lions into oil because they were no longer making enough money off of Murre eggs.
Oh, okay.
So now...
What else can we fucking...
Yeah.
It's our island.
What else can we ruin?
Yeah.
So...
The government's like, well, actually, you just paid us to get the eggs.
Yeah.
So we're going to need...
And, we probably should have told you, hey, leave the birds alone, but, go ahead and do the thing you want to do, the sea lions and seals too. So, like, whenever they turn them into... Like, they use... the oil process involves, like, bats of just boiling blubber. Like, it's just... The island was covered with fly-ridden seal and sea lion carcasses.
Sweet.
Just,
Just leave them there.
fuck everything. So this unsanctioned action filled the air with the stench of burning flesh and a thick cloud of smog that obscured the lighthouse signal. So that's why the lighthouse guys are like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah. I'm sure it smelled great.
So over the next few years, the company became increasingly confrontational. First, they demanded the removal of the foghorn, which is a pretty key part of the lighthouse experience, because it scared the birds away. And if there's not birds, we can't get the eggs.
Yeah.
So,
But
hey.
boats are crashing into the island. Fuck them boats.
Yeah, but they're not disturbing the birds.
Yeah.
That's our job.
Birds don't even care if
We
their
disturb the
boat
goddamn
crashes
birds.
into an island.
Soon after, the lighthouse keepers were prohibited from gathering eggs for personal consumption, which had been happening because they didn't have a lot of food.
Yeah.
They didn't make a lot of money. So, like, they were at least able to get
And
these
how would they
eggs.
even be able to take enough food over there,
Yeah. But the egg company said, yeah, no more. So the final straw was when an assistant lighthouse keeper was attacked for collecting some eggs. On May 23rd, 1881, the United States military...
Empty them pockets! I had nothing in my pockets!
The United States military forcibly evicted the Pacific Egg Company from the islands. So after 30 years, the egg war was finally over.
Wow.
The company's downfall opened the trade to lighthouse keepers and independent fishermen who upheld the summer tradition of raiding the nests. But the victory was short-lived, for the eggers soon faced an even greater adversary, chicken farmers. In the late 1800s, a poultry industry was established in Petaluma, California, just 38 miles north of San Francisco, which decreased the demand for Murre eggs. In response, the price dropped from $1 a dozen to 30 cents a dozen at the beginning of the season to 5 cents per dozen towards the close.
Yeah.
In addition, and they figured out that to make chicken farming work, you, like the free range shit, like you you use them in, like, you have the chickens in one area.
Yeah.
They basically ruin that land by using up all its resources and shit. You move them to a new area. They do their thing on it. Then you move them to another location. They do the thing on it. But by the time that's happened, the first area is back.
Yeah, see.
So you just keep fucking moving them.
Yeah. Chicken 101.
So, also the Murre eggs themselves, if they had still been worth any money, they were becoming pretty goddamn hard to find at this point.
Yeah.
After 4 decades of unregulated plunder, the Murre population on the Farallons dropped from about 400,000 birds to 60,000. So after a while, there was just a diminishing return on the Murre population, the eggs and everything. So no longer did it make sense economically. Indeed, the annual egg yield thinned from over 500,000 in 1854 to just 91,000 in 1896. It just wasn't worth going out there any longer, says this one author. I forgot his first name, Schramm. The industry shut itself down in that respect out of sheer greed. Today, the Farallon Islands are home to a seabird sanctuary with a thriving Murre population. So at least somebody is taking action to recover.
I say
the
we go
population.
visit it.
The Farallons?
Yeah.
Sounds like it's not fun to get to.
Well, we'll get there and we'll be like, this is ours now.
It's ours. Hey,
I
birds.
claim the middle-aged and mediocre.
Birds, you've been having it easy far too long.
Yeah.
It's time you to learn your lesson again. Give us some eggs.
We have the 80s action voice, action movie voice.
So that is the story of the Egg Wars.
Now, how much of that story was exaggerated? Was that all true? That's pretty crazy. Got one more in there. Right at the end, I slipped it in.
Oh.
Like an egg in the butt, I just slipped it right in at the end.
Ugh. I feel like you've put eggs in your butt before.
I swear I haven't. You can't prove anything.
Oh.
Just don't Google Joel eggs up butt.
Joel's egg butt.
Joel'sEggButt.com.
Yeah. Skirt. So yeah, just
That is fucking
it's just
nuts.
what like.
This is the same shit now.
I know. Like
Creed, man.
I had to do an episode where I could be mad about because just everything's terrible. Like it just never changes, and it's back in the cycle of. Like there was a whole thing with the bank. Like there's just a lot of shit, and I was like, I need to bitch about things.
Yeah.
So
These fucking egg.
and there was crime. There was crime.
Greedy egg motherfuckers.
Yeah. So just corporations doing fucking capitalism bullshit, and then in the process ruining nature and everything. So yeah, yay life.
Woo. That was our feel good too. Thanks for the feel good, Cash.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Oh, if only you need to start bringing a feel good because I might pull one of these on you.
Okay.
The feel good is that Joel is doing a comedy show tonight.
Yep.
And the next week, if you're in the area, you can even feel gooder.
Feel gooder.
Feel gooder by seeing Joel at the Smoot Theater downtown Parkersburg.
Yeah.
Along with Kevin Farley.
Yeah.
And who's the other dude?
The educated redneck. He's a guy who graduated from South. Dan Ellison, I think is
Okay.
his name. He's a real funny guy. I worked with him before. But it'll be a good show at the Smoot.
Yeah, so go check that out.
We'll have like
post
a
the,
whiskey
flyer.
hour show coming maybe soon. And
I think so.
Ronnie Crawdad.
Do you think it would be? Yeah, we'll have a new Ronnie Crawdad on Rooster Crow Radio next weekend. Do you think it would be enjoyable if I tried to do like along with like just me telling stuff about what's happened with me, and leave it off the music thing, like not worry about the music. But also kind of like do like a weekly wrap up of like the weekend wrestling.
Yeah.
Where I give like kind of my thoughts on the current product.
I like anything.
So that might So I might start doing that.
Maybe start with the song, end with the song.
They could do
I
that.
like the songs. I do like the songs though.
I could maybe put like 3, maybe do 3 in there or
The
something.
first episode was really good.
Thank you.
Waiting on number 2.
So we'll get there. So so hope you guys enjoyed it. Do all
Go suck an egg.
you can kiss our feet.
Go up from there.
Go up along.
Go up along.
All right. Any last puns?
I'm all punned out.
All right. Bye.